Electronic safety features are commonplace in today's family cars, saving lives and saving money. But what is Australia's favourite form of tribe transport? It's the medium-sized SUV, and right here we have 10 of them, the best sellers in fully featured all-wheel drive form, ready to test their safety credentials. The thing is, ticking all the safety equipment boxes does not make every car equal. It's what you do with it that counts, and that's what we're here at Wakefield Park Raceway to find out, which is the finest medium-sized SUV for protecting your family. We're sticking to top spec models to ensure an even playing field, because not every medium SUV offers crucial safety gear as standard across the range. Even the most affordable Ford Escape, Kia Sportage, Mazda CX-5, Subaru Forester and Volkswagen Tiguan models provide autonomous emergency braking, or AEB, and a rear view camera, whereas only an up-spec all-wheel drive Honda CR-V allows access to a full suite of safety equipment. So that means mid-40k all-wheel drive petrol variants featuring the best tyres and the broadest safety kit in their respective ranges at that price point. And we've stuck to the 10 biggest selling medium SUVs in Australia, with the exception of Mitsubishi's unavailable Outlander and the soon-to-launch new generation Toyota RAV4, to enlighten the broadest range of buyers. Our field consists of the Ford Escape Titanium, Holden Equinox LTZ-V, Honda CR-V VTi-LX, Hyundai Tucson Highlander, Kia Sportage GT-Line, Mazda CX-5 GT Turbo, Nissan X-Trail Ti, Subaru Forester 2.5 IS, and the Volkswagen Tiguan 132 TSI Comfortline 4Motion. Toyota generously supplied us a current RAV4 moments before it's put out to pasture, but a 2-litre GXL front-drive CVT, not the 2.5-litre GXL or Cruiser all-wheel drive auto with AEB required for parity in this exercise. So the RAV4's below-average results are best seen as a good guide to what an older generation medium SUV might achieve. Compared to a decade ago, the biggest active safety difference in modern vehicles is the increasingly common fitment of autonomous emergency braking, or AEB. That's the generic engineering term for the technology, though marketing departments can bamboozle you with fancy terms that mean exactly the same thing. Forward collision mitigation, smart brake support, smart city brake support, pre-collision safety system, they all mean essentially the same thing, an ability for the vehicle to apply full braking pressure to prevent a collision occurring, and that's AEB. This feature is almost always accompanied by a form of collision warning, be that a flashing red dashboard light, an audible beeping, or even a quick jab of the brakes to keep you alert. But not all of these systems work the same and can't be unfailingly relied upon to prevent a prank, hence why we're testing it. We put each medium SUV through 5 main disciplines: an emergency double lane change, a timed slalom, wet and dry braking distances from 100 km an hour, AEB effectiveness at 30 and 50 km an hour, and an overall dynamic assessment. And we had the CEO, the chief engineer and the marketing manager from ANCAP along to scrutinise our AEB testing, using their equipment and following their testing procedures. With tyre pressures set to normal placard pressures on every vehicle, our aim with this safety test is consistency, repeatability and accuracy, removing any grey area where possible and retesting any result that raises a question mark. Approached at a consistent speed of 70 km an hour, the aim of the double lane change is to replicate an emergency swerve and recover situation, yanking the wheel hard to the right through a marked course, then back to the left again, to test the effectiveness of a vehicle's stability control system as well as steering and handling response. The shining example is the Subaru Forester, hence why it receives a full 10 points. It's not only agile and confidence-inspiring, but its stability control system is sophisticated enough to contain excessive body movement without washing off too much speed. For the Subaru, the exercise is a walk in the park. The Holden Equinox, on the other hand, can only complete half the exercise. Easily navigating the first swerve, it's unable to transfer its weight back to the left again, instead ploughing forward and punching cones as it will. This snaking handling test involves threading each SUV through a bank of 6 witches' hats, each placed at equal distances from each other, then turning around and retracing the manoeuvre. The stopwatch begins as each SUV passes the starting cones at 50 km an hour and ends as each SUV passes the same cones in the opposite direction. In testing steering, handling and drivetrain response, as well as stability and traction control intrusion, the aim is to complete the course as quickly as possible. To clock a fast time, neat and tidy is the order of the day. All SUVs are left in drive and tested in both regular and sport modes where applicable. Quickest of our medium SUVs is Mazda's punchy turbocharged 170 kilowatt CX-5 GT, completing the course in just 17.35 seconds, though it demands supreme neatness to deliver its best. The gutsy Escape and Equinox also require some patience and a dab hand to contain their power, whereas the Forester, Tucson and Sportage are easier to be consistent with. At the opposite end is the Nissan X-Trail, curtailed by its lethargic engine and grabby stability control. It's only just man enough to edge out the breathless 2-litre RAV4. Somewhat unexpectedly, it's the CR-V that achieves the shortest dry braking distance from 100 km an hour, outstopping the Tiguan by half a metre to record an excellent 2-run average of 38.29 metres. The Tiguan, Sportage, Tucson and CX-5 all creep under the 40-metre mark, just ahead of the Escape and Forester. The Equinox also stops in 40 metres, but its second attempt is almost 43 metres, dragging down its average and giving it the dubious honour of the biggest margin between stops. In the wet, however, two things become abundantly clear. That the ageing RAV4's abysmal 52.11 metres shows that simply having anti-lock brakes does not make every SUV equal, and that the Tiguan's outstanding 43-metre stopping performance awards it a massive passive safety bonus. The Tiguan also takes half a second less than the RAV4 to stop in the wet, and that's a margin you can feel from the driver's seat. Interestingly, neither the CR-V or the CX-5 can maintain their dry braking talent in the wet, the Mazda in particular falling well down the rankings. Using ANCAP's brand new inflatable car, we set up our AEB testing on Wakefield Park Raceway's main straight. A pair of witches' hats mark the position where each SUV should be travelling at a constant 30 km an hour, and then the rest is left up to the safety electronics. A perfect 10 points means that an SUV pulls up before biffing the inflatable target. And at 30 km an hour, 5 of our SUVs manage that task. The Forester, Sportage, Tucson and CX-5 all pull off near flawless AEB performance, with the CX-5 only just brushing the target at 50 km an hour. The remainder of the field, however, struggle to achieve consistent results. Emblematic of the Equinox's hit-and-miss abilities as a whole, it waltzes through the 30-kilometre stop effortlessly, but only lightly brakes at 50 km an hour before biffing the target. Most of the others manage at least one successful AEB stop at 30, but lack the consistency to replicate that feat. Designing a great car is all about consistency, and that's something that also applies to active safety systems, as well as the medium SUV that clearly stands out here, and that car is the Subaru Forester 2.5 IS. In many ways, the same applies to the Kia Sportage GT-Line, Hyundai Tucson Highlander and Mazda CX-5 GT. The performance of their safety systems is worth celebrating, plus they're really good to drive. And while the Tiguan 132 TSI Comfortline proves inconsistent in some of its electronic safety aids, it's brimming with passive safety excellence. It's the most car-like of any SUV here, and that manoeuvrability deserves praise. Now, what places the CX-5 among the top 4 cars here is not just the fact that its safety systems are effective and consistent and work time and time again, it's that it actually has the power to get out of the way. We're in the slalom here. It was the fastest car through the slalom, grippy, confident, faster than the Forester, and you know what? Fun. Yet it's the Forester 2.5 IS that best demonstrates what sound safety kit can do for your life. It may have looks only a mother could love, but it'll be your fondest relative when it matters most, protecting you and your family like a giant bear hug for an attainable price. So what makes the Subaru Forester 2.5 IS our safest medium SUV? Well, it's everything about this car. It is just so consistent. All of the safety features in this car work seamlessly and tirelessly. There is never any flaws in the way this car operates. The Forester doesn't put a foot wrong in the way that its safety systems work. Time and time again, it brakes perfectly, it goes through the lane change, and it does it easily, encouragingly, confidently, exactly what you want electronics to do. Not to impede your life or to over-nanny everything, but to make you drive better, feel more confident, feel safer, and enjoy driving. See the lane change? Easy. I could have been deciding what I was going to have for dinner next week during that. Even in something like the slalom, the last thing that you would think a CVT transmission Subaru Forester would be good at, and lo and behold, it's the second fastest car of the entire group, just behind the turbocharged Mazda CX-5. And that's because all of the systems in this car work so well. You can feel the torque vectoring, moving the tail of the car, pointing the nose in, and really nice and tight turning circle, prompt steering, and you know what? A terrific drivetrain. It all comes together seamlessly, cohesively, and expensively. And yet this isn't an expensive car. And that's awesome.